freaked out the most knowing you got the gig?
I have a very relaxed family, so there wasn't a lot of freaking out. There was a lot of sort of...
Yeah, I'm Superman.
No, it obviously meant a lot to them, but it was it's a lovely sort of solemn, relaxed, like...
We're not going to freak you out. Yeah.
But the person I would say who freaked out the most was my high school theater teacher, who is also a wonderful actor, and he was the one who convinced me to audition for Juilliard and prepped me with my monologues for my audition, and I actually got to tell hours after the news broke, because he had been in a radio interview talking about his play that he was doing in Philadelphia at the time. So I was texting him and calling him like, hey, can we talk, and didn't hear from him. And 2 hours after I had talked to everybody else and the news had broken and everything, he called me and said, hey, what's up? I just got out of a radio interview. And I realized, he hasn't seen the news yet. So, and then he just went on and on, as he's wont to do. He has very great stories to tell. So I got a word and I said, well, did the interviewer ask you what it felt like to have your high school theater student playing the next Superman? And the line went dead. And then he exploded with enthusiasm and excitement, and that was a really fun phone call.
Which begs me to ask the question, what does this character mean to you? And this is a Pandora's box of a question, but what are the defining characteristics of at least your Superman?
I think he's a counterintuitively interesting and relatable character. I think he is a misunderstood character, not necessarily by the people who have worked on him, played him, drawn him, directed him, but by the public who maybe knows the idea of him. It's very easy to think of him as overpowered, invincible, sort of all the powers you could want, and to boot, not even any personal problems, really. He doesn't have a traumatic childhood. He doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. He doesn't bear his responsibility as a great burden,
He's an adopted alien. And also, he literally has a dual life. That seems complicated to me.
Oh, no. But you've skipped ahead to the interesting, complicated bits. But his parents didn't get killed in an alleyway when he was a kid. He wasn't partially responsible for the death of his uncle, as Peter Parker was. That's a hell of a way to start being a superhero. He had a wonderful upbringing by a very loving adoptive family on a farm, and then moved to the big city and got to start being the coolest superhero ever, and also gets to play this awesome human part of Clark Kent, cosplaying as a reporter most of the time. The point is that you're right. There are ultimately the thing that is so relatable about him is